bring the meeting to order. We'll start with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Caldwell, Wagner. Here. Councilmember Rose. Here. Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Randall.
Here.
Walker.
Here.
Patrick.
Excused.
Mayor Cramblett.
Here. Okay, additions or amendments to the agenda? You want to add something to the agenda?
Yeah, I'd like to add my apology to this.
Go ahead.
I would like to apologize to the council and the community, and again to Jessica and Rebecca from our EMS department for my comments at the last council meeting. My comments were out of order, out of line, but I meant no disrespect to these two ladies that do a great job for us. They are professionals, and I should have treated you as professionals. I personally apologize to both Jessica and Rebecca for my comments and discussed what caused my strong reaction to their proposal. We talked about it. Things were discussed, and they both accepted my apology, and I thank you. That's it.
Okay, any other additions?
Yes, we have several 5I notice to intent to award for the corrosion control project, and 5J necessary wastewater repairs, for system repairs. And then down on 10, executive session, I misspelled legal counsel. So fix that if you want.
Okay. So adoption consent agenda, which is approval of January 28, 2019. Total setting minutes, approval of January 28, 2019 city council minutes, ratification of the bills in the amount of $282,829.49.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No public hearing? Okay. Appointments to committees.
We have one application for the budget committee. We have one open position. Ken Whitberg has sent in an application to join.
I thought I would ask the council to accept Ken on the budget committee. Good with that? Ken, all right. Okay. Approval of the River County Reads Proclamation.
Gene Harmon of the Hood County Libraries District Chair is unable to get out of her driveway, sends her regrets. We'd still like to go for the proclamation is March 2nd before April 14th. Be okay, Your Honor. Proclamation of support 2019 Hood County Reads Program, Temperance Creek by Pamela's Voice. Whereas the Friends of the Hood County Library have organized the Hood County program to support books discussing ideas of all members of our community. And whereas Hood County Reads has been endorsed, supported, and financially assisted by local schools, businesses, and organizations, as well as the Hood Library Foundation, Starseed Foundation, Hood Education Foundation, Friends of the Hood County Library, Hood Cultural Trust, Gorge Community Foundation, and generous individuals. And whereas the City of Cascade knowledge, history, and richness of our northwestern lands and people. And whereas the selection of Temperance Creek by author Pamela Royce gives Cascade Locks the opportunity to know some of the history and experience of the living and working of the Pacific Northwest. And whereas the author Pamela Royce visits the community, and whereas over 500 copies of Temperance Creek will be distributed to the read and discussed throughout the county. Now therefore be it resolved that the City of Cascade Locks establishes March 2nd to 18th for the Hood River County Creeds, adopted this 25th day of February 2019.
So, they're asking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the proclamation for 2019 River County Reach Coverage Creek by Pamela Royce.
Second.
Second, to approve the proclamations for 2019 River County Reach Program. Discussion.
It's not a discussion, it's just more of a question. I can't remember, but how long since the River Library District was created? They've been doing this every year since then. Is that right?
Pretty much.
Like the third or fourth year?
It's third or fourth year, I think it's the fifth year we've done this. The Hood County Library District was formed about 8 years ago, 7 years before I came.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Yes.
I have a copy of the book waiting for me, and I've read like two or three pages online. It's a pretty good book. Yeah.
Other discussion? Anything you want to say, Bruce?
It sounds like now the ending election, and I can't wait to read it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Resolution 1410 establishing goals for fiscal year 2019 to 2020.
At our January 28th meeting, we worked through our goals. You added some excellent ones. I can't guarantee you'll get all done, but they are here on goals for us to begin our budget process, see how many of these we can fund.
Motion.
I move to approve resolution number 14 and establishing goals for the city government for the fiscal year 2019, 2020.
Yeah, I would like to.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay. Now, discussion. Yes, George.
Sorry, I'm jumping in again. So without saying that part of the emergency services goals, it doesn't say it can continue to cultivate more traditional funding. It doesn't say that at all, but although it says stay within the budget parameters, but I don't know if, I mean, if we don't have the money, we don't have the funding, I understand that. But being creative and keeping an eye for any other funding source would be a good thing.
That's incumbent upon staff on any of our programs, is to find as much money as we can to do things we want to do. That's the direction that we now have to take. And we've been doing it for a long time.
Okay. So it wouldn't be necessary to have something like that too.
And that's kind of standard operating procedure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Other questions? Bruce, did you want to say anything?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Goals. Approve resolution 1411. Adjusting the wastewater rates for debt services for the wastewater facilities improvement project.
Again, this is required by our funders to show how we are intended to pay back $5.6 million in loans, finance, grants that we will incur in this wastewater project. Again, it's two increases, one September 1, 2019, and one September 2020, September 1st, 2020. We split the goals, the increases up so that it would in two equal steps.
Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve resolution number 14 of August to adjust waste rate. Pay for the debt service for the wastewater facilities improvement project.
Second.
Okay, and then move to second. Approve resolution number 14. Discussion.
So it was brought to my attention that it might go against the city charter to be raising them. But explain that to me, or?
Be happy. The city charter was amended in 2008 to say that any fee, tax, or charge has to be approved by the board. This is a rate increase as well. Water rates were not included in that definition. And it's necessary for the continuing water utility. Generally, this council was considering that utility rates are not part of that.
The council is the sole body that's responsible for interpretation of the charter, where the side meaning of the charter is. If there's any question as to what the meaning is. And the charter does exclude rates. It refers to taxes, charges, or fees. If you look in our water ordinance, it says that it specifically defines the charges. No, I shouldn't say charges, but it specifically defines rates. And it says rates for the use or consumption of water, provision service related thereto shall be set from time to time by resolution of the council. And so it's saying that the council's in charge as an administrative action. You're not passing any law. You're just administratively setting the rate as provided in that water.
Linda.
On this resolution, on the charge for the residential, you have 1038. That's not what we agreed on. We agreed on 830.
It's adding to the current charge. It's the 830 is that's it was 877 for business per 1,000 gallons, but since we increased everything up for the 5370, the percentage, I took that 877 up that same percentage. It's a percentage increase on per 1,000 gallons charge, so that the residential rates and the business rates are relatively increased relatively the same. That's why it went from 877 to 1038. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay. Residents pay right now $45.40 for 10,000 gallons. If you go over that 10,000 gallons, 11,000 gallons, the rate is $8.77 per 1,000. Okay, so you switch. Businesses pay that $45.40 for 5,000 gallons. They go over 5,000 gallons. It's $8.77. Per 1,000 gallons, over that 5,000 gallons businesses. So what raise our rates for wastewater from $45 to $53, I increase the 877 the same percentage as that 45 to 53. So that per gallon, or per 1,000 gallons percentage goes up the same amount as the household rate goes up. So they're equitable.
I would agree with, I would have an argument about that too. I think what the council, all the council is looking at doing here was pay our loan.
Okay.
That's all we're looking at, anything else in here other than paying that loan. So all we want on this thing is the amount of what the loan is.
That's what this does. If you don't do that, up to, if you don't increase the per thousand gallon rate, the same increase as you would do the other base percentages, then you're not won't be collecting enough to pay off the loan. We try to make it across the board so that everybody bears the same percentage increase. Households and businesses. It's not fair that households subsidize businesses.
Your Honor, I get confused. I'm just listening. If I go home and listen to this on YouTube, I'm going to have to back it up 3 or 4 times to figure it out. I would like to see something written out because it just doesn't sound like what we talked about.
That's what I mean.
As I understand, we've got a loan.
Yes.
And there's a certain number that's going to pay that loan.
Yes.
And so on our bill, our bill should be reflective, not of rates at all, on that part of the bill.
Right.
There should be a piece of our bill that says you're paying 15, 16, 17, whatever that dollar amount is, that's what you're paying. And that is off to the side of any extra water, any base rate, anything. It's going to sit on the side of this loan, and it's going to say, this is what our loan payment is. And in order to meet that loan payment, we're paying whatever, what is it altogether, guys?
It is,
What is the pay the loan?
the total amount to pay the loan?
Well, per customer. For customer, we had to calculate it down.
Yes, we have 133 residential customers, 52 commercial customers, 15 public agency customers. The new rate at the end, after the 2 increases, it'd be $62 for residential, $12 for commercial, $12 for public agency. And we can break that out so that I can show you what the amount is for debt service and what the amount is for the continued rate.
That's what it should be.
We do that.
And that's all it should be. It should be added, because what that does is if I use over 10,000 gallons, now I'm adding more money, I'm adding more money to that. So taking more money out of me to pay where I have a loan to pay, I got a set amount to pay.
Right.
And I know that so each customer is given a certain amount of money, and it should be, if I go over the thing, I gotta, no, I'm gonna pay what, I should only have to pay what the original amount of money was for going to 10,000. Should be added to that.
But okay, so that completely changed the rate structure. If you do that.
I'm not looking at rate structure. Yes, it does, because I'm saying that when the bill comes to us, that's what I expected. I think the council expected. Is that when you get a bill, there's every customer, we calculated how much customers, and we said if we get this amount of money from these customers, that covers the loan payment. And I want that to be on the loan or on our bill.
I get to express that. I understand that, but my question is, if the 877 that they would pay for the water usage, if I don't increase that the same percentage as the other rate, then the residences would be subsidizing the businesses. So I have to keep it consistent. I can break it out so that this goes to debt service and this goes to operations. That's not a problem. But if I don't raise both, then the businesses get a break.
But I only brought it up because this is what you gave us.
Yeah, and it's new rate.
And it shows right here, commercial and residential. I mean, what we agreed.
Yes, this is where we are. Is that where you're looking at? The third line, third step from the bottom? Okay, that's what's currently. This is the first rate increase and this is the second rate increase.
But all of those are, you call it a rate increase, all it is the payment of the loan.
We can break it out,
but that rate does not change by the amount of water you use. You need that amount of money from each customer in order to pay that debt service. That's all I'm saying.
If I do it just on the base rate, then I gotta go back and recalculate. Because what you will do is the base rate, if you leave it at 45.40 for residences, commercial is 8.77. That's the base rate per 1,000 gallons. Public agency is 8.77 per 1,000 gallons. So if I leave the 45.40 and add the 10.30 or whatever it is to get it to the 53.70 the first year and 62 the second year, what do I do with the 8.77? How do I get businesses to pay their share?
Well, all I'm saying is whatever, we laid it out, say here's businesses and here's businesses and here's the residents. This is the amount of money we need to pay the bill. And that's what I'm saying, it's not a question. This payment has nothing to do with sell of water or anything. This payment is strictly to pay a loan. And it should be set up so there's enough money in that payment, either through businesses or homes, to pay that.
So how do I allocate it to businesses?
Well, business has to be, business has to be higher in order to pay the loan. The business has to be higher, whatever that number is.
Again,
It shouldn't be dictated by the amount of water. It's strictly dictated by every month what you pay because this is where our loan payment is. And we break that down, however we're going to break it down between businesses.
And our rate is based on how much water you use. This is what wastewater rate is based on. Period. So if you just get a flat rate, I'm a business and I use 20,000 gallons. And I pay $8.77 for 20,000 gallons, which is $196,199. And if the get debt service, I gotta make it based on the usage, so that they pay their share. Now I can break it out so it's still $8.77 per 1,000 gallons water usage, and it will be $1.61 for debt service.
We're already doing that though. Right now, I have a sewer rate and a water rate that are set in order to be able to run those two businesses. It's already set that way. I'm not asking them for more out of the water that they use. All I'm saying is I want enough out of them to pay the loan. I already have a rate set to run my outfit. I'm not asking for more to run my outfit. I'm only asking for enough to pay my loan.
And it was included in the rate. I can break it out. That's what you want me to help you bring.
So in my opinion, that's what you wrote. We went after a loan.
Right.
We went after a loan in order to pay for this water project.
Right.
And that loan is paid for not by the use of sewer or water or anything else. That loan is paid for by the amount of money we need per month from the customers and from our, whether commercial or private or home customer, to pay that monthly loan to pay off that, to be able to pay off that loan. It is not set towards adding towards the amount of use of water. That's already all been done. We already got rates for that. We shouldn't be adding any more to those rates. It should it should strictly be money that pays for that loan. That's all we're going after.
I can break it out.
If we want to go after anything else that creates rates, the raises for use of water and all that, that is when we go to citizens and say, it costs more money to run our sewer department or water department. We need to have an election and ask you for so much more for it. But in order to ask for a loan to do work, we have to do this work. Ask for a loan, bang, that should be a flat number. It has nothing to do with water.
So what we're looking at doing is to go from $45 to $62, which is $16 increase. If we do a flat rate by account, you're looking at a $25 increase per account. Flat rate.
And I would say that normally it's the same thing. We have we have our home customers and we have our commercial customers. And in general, our commercial customers pay a little bit more money for things not correct. So our rate should not be flat. The commercial customers should pay a little bit more money and the homeowner should pay less. You should come up with a number that is indicative of the difference that we do right now with them, and set that rate. It shouldn't be the same for both of them. Commercial should pay a little bit more of that bill, just as they do normally with the average.
The average commercial and public agency account you use is 2.5 times. More like 5 times the amount our average residential user uses. So do you want that ratio?
I want the ratio of what we do right now. There's a ratio of what we do already. And that ratio should look very much the same as the ratio we already have.
Okay, but
I don't think that ratio is 8 times much. I don't know. I think it's 8 times much.
Because, no, it's. Businesses pay $8.77 per 1,000 gallons. Residents pay about $4.50 per 1,000, $4.54. That's the way the rate structures are designed.
So that's not 8 times as much.
No, it's twice as much.
Okay, so then it's twice as much here.
Okay.
It should be set up where they're paying twice. That's how we set it up. It should be set up that way here. Tell them whatever that number is. But I thought we already came up with that number. Because I believe that's what the council was looking at with this whole. It was going to be looking like. I thought that's what we were doing.
Well,
that's what I thought our numbers were looking at.
That's what this will do, but it's not broken out, so I can leave the rates the way they are now and increase into the debt service line. So that the debt services, the residential will go up $16.30, $16.60, and the commercial and public agencies accounts per 1,000 gallons, because that's how the rates are allocated to them. $1.61 plus $1.62, so $3.23, and that can be identified as the debt service line.
I can't, that doesn't work for me. I don't think. Because you're doing it on a per 1,000 gallon. I want a flat number, because if I'm normally doing 5,000, and now I do 10,000, you're going to get a bunch more money out of me towards that loan you shouldn't get.
But also,
the loan should be a flat number.
But it all goes to debt service. If you pay the loan off early,
that's not what I'm after. I'm after a fair, solid payment. That is just a payment. It is not ran off the amount of water I run. It is strictly a number. I took a loan out. I just want to pay the loan.
That's how the sewer's charged. We gotta go back. That's how our sewer's charged. That's how we make it fair.
But we're already getting that. We're already getting all of that. You're asking for more from them. You're asking for, if they use anybody who uses more water, you're asking them to dump more money towards our loan. I'm going to get one set that I pay $50 a month. If I pay the city pays $100,000 a year, that's what I'm getting, $100,000 a year. I'm not getting $150,000 and put 50,
Well, I understand what you're talking about.
It's a loan. All I want to do is a number that sits there and says, this is the number we're going to ask you guys to pay this loan.
Okay.
And then they know what that is.
I completely misunderstood what the council wanted, because I will not be way or rate structure for a bill. I'll come back to you.
Well, one of the difficulties I had with what structure we had before, and I knew that part of it was the way a computer could pick things up and print out things for us. We had a $45 bill on our, but of that $45, there's a certain amount of that that's paying the sewer loan. So I don't really know how much of that $45 is being used to run the sewer company and how much is paying that loan. We should have known that too. But I want to do that now.
Okay.
So I want the customer to know, this is the amount of money you're paying to cover the loan. And that has nothing to do with how much water you use. If we have an issue with how much, if we can't run our business on what's in here, we'll come back to you. And we'll come back with something going on to change that. And it should be fair, whatever the difference is for residents or commercial, should look very much the same on that bill.
I will do my best.
I don't know, that's my opinion.
That's what I thought, we were just.
Just a point of order, and correct me if I'm wrong. We have a motion that's been made second.
Sure.
Okay, so that's.
We're having discussion.
That's on the.
Yes, it is.
I would like to retract my second.
Okay.
Are you supposed to go against the motion?
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me to second a motion, then turn around and.
Are you prepared to retract your second?
Yes.
Who made the motion?
Richard.
Are you prepared to take back the motion?
I would.
Okay, so,
I
they take those. So anyway, I've been sitting here talking on this thing. Where's the council? That's what I'm about to council out. Where are you on this?
I agree. I just want it written down. I'm that kind of guy. Show me what we're talking about. So that when I get my bill,
X amount of money.
X amount, I know that, damn, it went way up. Well, okay, we borrowed this much money. We gotta pay this much into the kitty to pay off the loan. No different than if I buy a car or a couch. I know what that payment is. That's all I'm looking for.
But it should be on how much water. Well, no, it should be flat. No,
I agree.
Okay.
Well, that's what I thought this was. Our original, charge is $45.
Yeah.
And we chose to go up, $8.30
Right.
each year to that.
Yes.
But I didn't expect to have to pay more on the amount of water we used. I thought this
You're not paying for an amount of water you use. For residents, you pay at 8:30 and 8:30. Businesses pay their sewer bill based on the amount of water they use. They pay $8.77 right now per 1,000 gallons. First year, this year, they pay $9.43 per 1,000 gallons. That's their fair share. And the third year, they pay $12 per 1,000 gallons. That's the 161 and the 162 increase. Now I can break out those increases, the 830, 161, 162, and put them in a debt service line. But your sewer bill is based on how much water you put down the sewer treats. That's
but not alone. I'm taking it out alone. And all it should be reflective of is how we pay that loan.
So I'm a business, I don't use a lot of water, and I'm gonna pay the same amount as a business that uses a lot of water for its debt service.
You do that right now. I mean, you do it right now. Whatever our system is set up, anybody that doesn't use water, they pay much towards our sewer system, and somebody uses a ton of it, does pay. But this has nothing to do with how much water I use. It has everything to do with just fixing up our system, that's all it is. It has nothing to do with running and maintaining it. It has everything to do with a one-time thing that fixes it.
That philosophy, a business that, again, I'm just trying to understand. A business that uses a lot of water, which contributes to the wastewater stream that we treat at the plant, is gonna pay exactly the same amount of money for the debt service that's using to fix that water system, as Brenda would be paying at Cascade walks and dogs and trees, which doesn't use a lot of water. They
pay exactly the amount that, whatever it takes to break down this amount of people to pay that loan. He said this is, we're paying, again, it's a loan, and it has nothing to do with the amount of water, sewer, or anything. If you want to,
but it does.
If you use a bunch more water, we're getting the money anyway, but we're getting it at the rate that we said we would get it at. you're asking to take a larger rate from.
So,
Because they're already paying, whatever that rate was, it's already there. And if they use a bunch more, they're paying that.
no, it's not in the 877 rate.
To operate our business, it has been up to this point.
To operate
Everything that we're right now has been run off of that. It's been run off of that concept.
Yes.
That if you use, somebody comes in and uses more water, they're gonna pay more money.
Yes.
Well, now we're saying, well, you're gonna pay even extra money.
Yes.
Because you're gonna pay this loan.
Because
It'll be a fair price.
responsibility on wastewater system. You're putting more load.
And you're paying for that, you're already paying for it.
For the load, but you're not paying for the debt service.
Yeah, you are. We're making you pay the same equal amount for paying everybody's in this together. That's all we're saying. We're all in together, we're splitting up amongst us. And the commercials paid to run this thing normally, they paid twice as much as everybody else. They're still gonna pay twice to help that debt service. That's all that money's for, is to pay debt service. It's not what's more strain on the sewer system or anything. Because frankly, all that money that they're paying for, we're gonna fix this thing up and we're gonna have a much better running system if we do it right. Then everybody's gonna do well. Now, if they use a bunch, they pay more, or we pay more. If we don't think they pay enough to run the sewer system, we need to go to the citizens and say, hey, we're not getting enough money out of this end of it to run our business. Because right now, we've been running on that.
And we're doing fine.
Okay.
I'm not changing.
Don't ask for that.
I'm trying to earn enough to pay the debt service. And it seemed to me that it needed to be proportional. That if I'm a large wastewater system unit, I ought to contribute a large amount to the debt.
Yeah, I'm doubling.
No. I'm not.
Well,
doubling usage. But I will bring you a flat fee if you want next time.
So,
But
Bruce, you should do all this kind of, you've got waste treatment and all that stuff. Where are you at on this thing?
Well, I think where it looks like we're going because it's easier to track on your bill, but your business users are going to put more wear and tear on your plant because they are putting more through it. You are right. We're making the water sales they put through it, but that takes care of the water where the money goes. The sewer plant, they're going to put more stuff in it, so the plant's going to work harder. So they should pay more under that, which I'm not sure that reflected in the what was the dollar, the 323 and the 360 or something. So yeah, I'm kind of lost in the shuffle here a little bit, but I am definitely seeing both sides. And I think we're kind of talking about the same thing, but we're coming from different spots in the road. Yeah, 323,000 is what we're talking about for the businesses. But they are going to put a lot more in the system, and that's just the nature of the business.
Yeah, but they're paying.
It's nice to see it broken out where they can see where the money's going. And I don't know if you can break it out like that when you measure. The residences, we're going to be like it's always been. You've got a flat rate. This is what's going to cost you unless something happens, and you use way more water than what you anticipated. Like your toilet starts leaking or something, then you get into the penalty zone. But this is I'm not totally tracking on this myself.
Maybe we just.
I'll come back.
Well, they're already paying. They're paying $8 something in here, if they run a bunch into it, they're being penalized, they're already getting penalized for that, at $8 something. Sure they are, we're gonna charge them $8 something thousand, so they go, anything over that, we're charging that $8 something thousand on.
Right, so that's paying for the operation of the plant.
Exactly.
But what portion of that should they pay for the debt service?
Because what that does to me, it gets everything mixed up again. Once I've got a number there, I'm saying that number is paying for the debt, I don't know what's going to that, that's consistently going to that. But if I got a company, and I got somebody out here that, that dumps more into it, and I'm charging them more to do it. Now I got a chunk of money sitting out here that I gotta track, everybody's gotta track, and how much, here's the amount of money that we got off these guys that went extra to the debt. And to me, that throws the whole thing off. I just wanna know, we took out a debt, we took out a loan, I just wanna know what we're paying. I don't want the money going towards the loan. We're already running our business off the, and if I have a business that uses more water at $8 something, $1,000, whatever, then my workers get, or that business gets money into it to do whatever needs to be done to fix that.
They're not paying their proportional share of the debt service.
I say, yes, they are. The deal is not a matter of paying proportional, how much you use proportional debt service. The deal is how much you're wearing it out. If you're wearing it out, then we need to do something about that. But that has nothing to do with the debt. That has nothing to do with the debt. That's a whole different argument, in my opinion. And that's an argument, because there's an example. Because we've gone over what kind of sewer system we have. Our sewer system is a basic sewer system. It's a sewer system that's basically there to take care of whatever comes out of toilets and out of household. In fact, and that's set up that way even for the industrial. We do not have an industrial type sewer system. So what we do to an industrial customer, and rightfully so, if they come in and they create more a certain type of a load, sewer type of a load, we make them pre-treated. So they're already going to get nailed. They're going to get nailed by saying, whatever you put in our system is not the right kind of stuff for our system. We've got just a real basic system. You are going to pre-treat it. You're going to create your own little sewer system prior to ours. So we're already going to put a load on them if they start. But then just to plain old put water into it and use sewer at the same level that we're at, they're not doing any more than we are. And our system, frankly, our system is designed to do that. And the biggest problem with our system is we originally built the thing. So to me, the fact that we put it in there helps our system run. And if we got a company coming in that brings in the wrong kind of sewage, they have to pre-treat it. And that's going to be a pretty good cost to them. This is strictly a debt. And all we're asking is our customers to equally pay the debt, not take care of what it's doing or whatever, because frankly, we are all wearing it out equally as much. It's the same type of sewer.
I don't understand how charging residents one rate and charging all businesses twice that rate, because that's the way the per thousand gallon rate is structured. And all businesses are not the same. You've got industrial businesses, you've got commercial businesses, you've got work.
Then let's have a conversation about that. But this is part of that. This is not to me. Not to me. This alone is bringing our sewer system up to the scale of what it should be.
Absolutely.
Of what it should be for everybody. And the residents are going to, and everybody in my mind, I don't know, you got one more time. I can be convinced. I don't. There's no doubt that I come out here. If you can convince me different, but for me, I want to know what that number. I want to know what that number is. And you're not going to, by doing the way you're doing it, we're never going to know what that number is. It's going to be all over the place. It's going to follow the water. It's not going to follow that somebody's got a loan, a 40-year loan, I got to give $150,000 a year to.
Let me clarify.
When it's here, I got $100,000 a year. Some years I'm going to have $200,000, $250,000, sometimes $150,000. Sounds like to me.
Actually, our water usage, wastewater usage is pretty constant. Businesses generally don't go, but I will come back with two plans for you next time. If we break it out for the $1.61 the first year, and $1.62 for the businesses for the second year, as debt service. Here's your rate, here's debt service. I'll show it to you per 1,000 gallons, and I'll show it to you on a flat rate. You can choose which way you want to go.
Okay.
So
are we okay with that?
And the debt service line, we can add it to the bill, it goes right into that debt service account, you can track it every month about how much money you get. It's not a problem.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Approve resolution number 1412, accepting North Columbia Gorge Way.
Unfortunately, finally striped it, so that is now in compliance with our city standards. We need to take it over as part of our city streets. We're on the main street, speak up. So this resolution does that.
So, do we have a motion?
I'll move to resolution 1412, authorizing acceptance of public street and improvements is complete for Cascade subdivision, LU 14-003, and accepting northeast Gorge Way into the city maintained streets.
I second.
Okay, move to second to approve resolution number 1412. Discussion. Anything you want to say, Bruce, on this one?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Approved contract for installation of three-phase 1,000 MCM primary line extension.
With the completion of Columbia, the board is rapidly bringing recruiting businesses into it. Frame will be on north side of the renewal workshop is looking at a 40,000 square foot building. South side, Quaker Brothers are down on the little flat. We need to get power to them. In order to get power to them, we have to put in line. This $110,000 is the best. We approached 5 contractors and only one responded with the bid. It's because the contractors are busy putting Seattle back together after their big snowstorm a couple weeks ago, down in California back together. This bid is, we need to get going on the bid because there's a 12-week lead time to the wire. And so we can have the electricity for the construction of Freeing, which has been, their site plan has been approved. And Quaker Brothers, whose site plan has also been reviewed. This money will be paid back to the city by the. But I need approval to go get the money, get the equipment.
So we got a motion here?
I move to accept the contract to energize the electrical backbone into the business park for the Yates Line Construction Company in the amount of $110,080.32.
I'll second.
Okay, move to second. Subcontract to I hold this park from Yates Line Construction Company in the amount of $110,080.33. Discussion. I got a question on the thing, because we talked about Quaker. So what I'm looking at what we have here, we got two 6-inch pipes coming off that pole, and then there's a small pipe coming off.
Right.
Now, the big pipe, at least one of the big pipes, is for the backbone, and it's gonna head east to the end to Cranberry Way up there, right?
That's correct.
And dead ends right there at that one. So as part of that is this contract.
That is this contract.
So what about now, Wastewater has to be powered, not from that line, it's got to be powered from another line. Probably the same pole, but it goes down another tube to Wastewater, right?
No, it goes down the street and then down the conduit, Wastewater goes underneath the driveway that they put down to waste comes from the east end of Cramplin Way.
So one of those three balls, one of those three balls saying, it's gonna come out of one of those three balls going.
Yeah, we
Yes, there's three pipes there. Can you tell me what all three of those pipes are?
The 6-inch pipes are this is the first half backbone that needs to be done. We get the EDA project, hopefully, we'll put the other line in. The 2-inch line was for a neutral that allows us to energize both lines. It's an electrical, it's not for TV or anything else, it's for the neutral line.
So that has to be there as part of the hog backup. So that's something to be pulled through at the same time as this? So neutral will be put in there too?
We're not planning on doing the neutral this time. We do the second line to put neutral in.
Okay, so all you're doing,
Just
and Orchard's gonna feed off of, Orchard doesn't feed from that pole, it feeds from this
originally, when Wastewater first started, we talked about doing it off that wall and going down the back line, but they took their time, so we included it in when we did Columbia Gorge.
Okay, so again, let me ask one more time on it, so I'm clear. Part of this project, will part of this project, even though the line out to the last wall, are we gonna run a line down Hoyt, because you mentioned Hoyt? Are we gonna come off of that?
We're gonna come off of that to run a line down Hoyt, but when Wastewater's bringing their building, determine how much that's gonna cost, they pay that portion extension.
So that, this is just a hog line to get to their extension. I put it in their extension.
Nope.
Okay. Any other? Bruce, is there anything you want to say on that?
Just that, I'm glad that we're getting this done, because this is where we started about 6 years ago. But, trying to get stuff done in the business department, so get the business rolling there. So I think this is a good thing.
More than 6 years ago. We've been at this a while, so yeah, this. Okay then, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Approve Ruben Cleveland. Cleveland LLC as the city.
Commissioner Cleveland, share with us, I would like to present your case.
Yes, really enjoyed being your city attorney for all these years. And as you well know, Carrie died about a year ago, and there's just been some changes at the firm, and the evolution of that is that Vic Van Coe, another member currently, and I are going to open up our own shop just a couple blocks away in Red River. A couple blocks current shop we're at Red River. So this is just asking you to come with me to the new shop, keep me on as your lead attorney, and just going status quo. The only difference being the change of firm name.
So we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll move to approve staying with Mr. Cleveland as he joins the new law firm of Van Coten and Cleveland LLC.
I second.
Okay, then who's second? Staying with. Discussion. Bruce, you want to say anything on that?
Just it's been a pleasure to have Ruben working with us, long as he has, I'm happy to, continue the relationship.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, adopt 2019-2020 budget calendar.
This is a document that drives the budget process. got the dates, we have to publications, we have to have meetings, what we're gonna discuss at the meeting, it's gonna start, it's gonna stop. What's drop dead date, it's this calendar that lays out, the actions for the next 4 or 5 months as we put the budget together.
I recommend adopting the proposed budget process for the fiscal year 2019, 2020.
Second.
Okay, and then move the second, for budget process for fiscal year 2019, 2020. Discussion? Bruce, anyone want to say on that?
Seems like you don't come around here every 6 months.
Yes, it does. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, so we got aye. And aye is.
The corrosion control project.
Okay, this is notice of intent to award corrosion control project.
That's correct. We opened the bid, and the bids basically came in, when you include the fence, at $215,000 over what we had budgeted. I have been in talks with Business Oregon. They are willing to loan us the extra $215,000, but if you remember on the original $855,000 project, we were going to borrow $280,000 and the rest was going to be grant. They're going to maintain the grant project, so this will increase the loan from $280,000 to $495,000. So as soon as I get the paperwork on that, I can bring you back what the rate increase will be. We're going to pay $1.25 for the first $280,000. If you add that to $215,000, that's somewhere between 75 cents a dollar increase in order to do the corrosion control project. If there was a way to cut the project, I would have brought that to you, but since we are under Oregon Health Authority order to have this completed by December of 2019, we can't wait, number one, and number two, I can't cut, because this is what it's going to take to add soda ash to the water to neutralize to increase the pH. I'm sorry, but that's the way contractor is bid.
So it seems like pretty, 200,000, 800,000, it's quite a where do we miss? And with somebody put this all, we're missing $200,000.
The contract came in at $188,000 over what we had budgeted the contract. And so as the project has increased a little bit, we need to put a bit more into the inspection. We wanted security fence around, we did add an add-on. Crestline actually came in with the lowest contract price and the lowest price to put in fence. We could cut $23,000 out, don't fence it, but then you're putting out that sensitive equipment out there unguarded. So the recommendation is from the wastewater engineers, it's a total $850,000, $805,000 from Crestline. Increase the inspection total by $7,000 to get us to $50,000 because the total price increases, your contingency goes up. So that's $19,000. So it's increasing the contingency.
So we have a motion on this thing?
I move to approve this intent to award the contract to Crestline Construction for $804,000 $804,700 and to approve the notice of award after a 7-day waiting period if not protests are received.
No protests are received. I can't spell it.
Yeah.
Is there a second on
I'll
that?
second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. approve the notice of intent to award the contract to Crestline Construction of $804,700. And to approve the notice of award after a 7-day waiting period, if not protest is received. Discussion. Richard.
Gordon, what did you say the original amount was?
The original, the total project was $855,000.
855?
And now it's going to $1,070,000.
So we're okay.
We're awarding the contract price and the fencing.
So where does the other $200,000 come in from?
That's the contingency, and we've already signed the agreement with the engineer. That's how come, their
So we're already committed to
$65,000.
that.
We're already committed.
We're already committed to that.
Yes.
So we already talked about what we're going to charge for this.
Right.
But now we're saying
Yes.
we don't know yet. We're awarding this, but not really knowing exactly how much we're going to be asked.
We're awarding this, we know how much the increase is going to be. What I don't know is any terms that the business are going to be on the additional, once I know those additional terms and how much we can borrow, and then I come back to you with rate that we need to increase.
Because we've already put this into our system at what, $1 a quarter.
Right.
And so you're saying right now, we're going to be somewhere around $1.
Somewhere it could be 75 cents, it could be $1. It should be
somewhere in that ballpark.
Right.
It's going to be added to this.
Right.
So when we come back, we change
That
amount, and so there are three different amounts, but the one solid
Right.
Any, Bruce, anything you want to say on this?
Well, it's too bad that they got increased, but we still gotta get it done. We don't wanna wait till December and not have everything finished. So, I think the state kinda got us over a barrel, and we need to do it for, just to clean up our system. So, I'm thinking we better do it.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And funding the wastewater system repairs.
Jacobs Engineering, which used to be CHU Mill, which used to be OIY, which used to be, they're an operator in plant since 1998. They pointed out, they came into my office and they pointed out some problems that we're having. One at the repark station, the reducers, the heat fixtures, the check valves need to get replaced. The electrical panel is corroded and in danger of electrocuting somebody. Our SPR tanks need to be drained and some valves replaced. We've been trying to live along until the wastewater project could repair all of this stuff. We're not going to make it. So we need to have $25,000 approved to make these corrections to get us to where, for the next 2 years, our wastewater systems can operate efficient.
This was one of the projects in the wastewater.
Both of them. We're actually going to get a jump on our wastewater project because we have clean tanks in anyway. This is that will make it easier to do. We do it now and then do it again, so that we can keep the sludge out of the bottom. So it's not totally wasted. So I gave you the picture. See what it looks like.
So we got a motion on this?
Yeah, I'll move to approve the repairs outlined by Cascade Engineering of Park Station and wastewater treatment plant at an estimated cost of $25,405.
Okay, moved and seconded to approve the repairs outlined by Jacob Engineering in the Marine Park Station and the Wastewater Treatment Plant. Estimated cost $25,405. Richard?
Yeah, I have, for Gorge, I didn't know anywhere where it says how long it took for that damage to happen.
It's been years.
How many?
It's been years.
How many?
I like it.
Nobody knows how long it took for that.
We've ignored it.
Well, like Bruce probably knows something about this, but there's some systems that they have that they put on pipes to keep them resting, and run current, keep them resting. Do you know anything about that, Bruce?
Well, I know along the light rail we used to bond our stuff, but that was because there's a lot of electricity flowing through those trains. This looks like it could have maybe, if you had some isolation joints, it might have helped, but yeah, I never.
Are we in the
never
habit
seen
of
it look
looking
that
at stuff like,
It's not a habit.
this is ridiculous.
We've been trying to wait until it's all in the wastewater project.
Well, this looks like we've been waiting for 30 years.
Oh, more than that. Since the boat's been down, there, that thing all looks the same as the boat's been here 35 years, and we've been going into that thing and playing with it since day one with the boat. And occasionally the valves would hang up and that on. So what you see here, the structure that's been in there, all that has been in there for at least 35 years.
Well, with the advanced technology or materials, there might be a way to slow down the corrosion with the new material they use, possibly.
Recently, they did something to it. I can't remember what it was.
Well, we
They some
did
work.
replace one pump in the lift station. If you remember, whenever in the spring, when the rains come and you get 6 inches of rain in a 24-hour period, it comes right down the hill and flows right into our the Marine Park lift station. And the one pump that we have working can't handle it. It fills up the tank. We have to get a pumper truck to come in, pump it out, carry it down to the wastewater treatment plant. We do this as soon as we can before the rains start, cross fingers. We should be able to handle the flow that comes down. Again, there's still the danger that it's going to flow into the Columbia, but we always have that with the amount of rain that we get.
Yeah, you know, when I'm thinking of lift station that's at the visitor center. This is the main lift station that takes it out to the.
Yes,
This
used
comes
to be
from
the
the old
sewer
sewer
plant. Right.
Yeah, see, that plant was built, I haven't seen this one. This, the one I've seen has its issues too, down the, because we have to lift it from the visitor center over to this station, and it's relifted from here out to the treatment
And that's
plant.
your stuff. That's the. or
Yeah, we
that's the
just,
board.
ours have been there for a long time too, we redid ours. But ours looked just like that, it looked just like this. Yeah, so that could've been, I don't know how long that could've been there a long time. Well, and it works constantly, I mean, this lift station has taken all the original sewer lines, that was the sewer plant down there. So this lift station takes everything from town, from basically from halfway down the airport, and town goes all to there, then gets pumped out to our station. So the majority of our sewer system goes to this pumping station. This thing has to work a lot. Yeah, and it's the only, and if this lift station goes out, we're not moving.
It doesn't look like it.
Yeah, we're not moving sewage.
If I looked at this and said, well, that must not be that important. What you're saying is, we'd have been up the creek.
This is probably the most important.
Well, we ought to treat it like it is.
That's right.
Yeah, well, when ours didn't work, it just backed up into the visitor center there and flooded our visitor center down there.
We can
For the
rerun
grill. Backed up in the grill. So, did we vote on this yet?
No.
Okay. Are we done with discussion? Did I ask you if you want to say anything?
Just it would be nice to get the number 2 working. It doesn't sound like it's been working for quite a while. So, I think Boy, we're spending a lot of money tonight, but we need to get this done too.
Well, this is in the budget, so.
Oh, that's better. Yeah, okay, I'm definitely for it.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Citizens,
Did you have one?
I think she left.
She left? Okay.
Yeah, Karen.
Well, I signed up on the wrong
Yeah.
slip, perhaps.
Did you wanna, yeah, come on up.
Yes, sir.
You bet.
First, my apologies for my faux pas with my cell phone. My daughter was instructed to text me when she got home. She's 16, new to driving in the ice. And said she'd like to send me a video of her dogs. So my apologies.
No problem.
I did bring some extra copies of my letter, and I apologize I did not make enough as well. I'm happy to send some over.
They want to hear who you are first.
Absolutely. My name is Ann Lueder. I'm the superintendent of Skamania County EMS. We're across the river from you. I've seen some of you in different capacities before, although I'm not familiar with all of you. So perhaps in the future we can get to know each other a little bit better. So I'm just going to read a quick letter that I have to address with the Mr. Zimmerman, the city administrator, who it's been a long time since I've seen, actually, and then of course Mayor Cramblett and the honorable counselors. For many years, Skamania County EMS and Cascade Fire and EMS have enjoyed the reciprocal benefits of a mutual aid agreement. I'm sure you're all aware of that mutual aid agreement. This agreement, most recently renewed in January of 2006, allowed each agency to provide emergency medical services to communities on both sides of the river when the primary agency was at level 0 or otherwise dealing with needs greater than their scheduled abilities. This happens often. You could have more than one car accident, or emergencies seem to happen 2, 3, and 4s. In early 2018, both I and Chief Bennett began an extensive review of this agreement, as well as the level of aid the agencies were providing to each other. I requested this review because I was newly appointed as superintendent at Skamania EMS. It considered overall call volume, mutual aid responses provided, response schedules, and minimum staffing levels adopted by each agency. We further considered what changes, if any, would need to be addressed upon the formal renewal of our agreement, which needs to be undertaken and taken care of. While this type of review is tedious, it is a necessary process and one that has been on track to conclude in late 2019. In recent weeks, it's been brought to my attention that Chief Bennett has tendered her resignation with an effective date of June 1. It is this information and a review of calls over the last year that has prompted our attendance at your council meeting this evening. Since January of 2018, Skamania County EMS has responded to over 60 calls for aid in the city of Cascade Locks and our surrounding areas. Comparatively, we have requested mutual aid from Cascade Locks Fire and EMS less than 20 times. And each time that we requested, the call came when our service was at level 0. To accomplish these calls, including our mutual aid to you, and address the additional 1,350 calls that occur inside Skamania County, we employ 12 full-time personnel and a cadre of part-time employees. This allows us to schedule 2 ambulances 24 hours each day, 365 days a year. While we understand that Cascade Locks Fire and EMS may not experience the number of calls that our agency does, we also understand that community members expect their emergency services are available when called upon. Whether that be fire, EMS, county road, city streets, electrical. It is with this information in mind that we express our concerns for the immediate future and ask administration and council members to provide insight on how you intend to address the future needs of your community and the impacts that may occur with these impending staff changes. Skamania County EMS is committed to continuing our relationship with the understanding that mutual aids are chronically insufficient. As you move through the process of recruiting and hiring a new chief, we will continue to work with Chief Bennett on renewal and update our existing mutual aid agreement. We are hoping that we can come to an agreement on these services and the continuing reciprocity. We hope that the city administration and council members can provide support and resources for an emergency medical service system that supports this reciprocal mutual aid agreement. So I do have copies, and I apologize that I don't have enough.
We can make this.
Sir, would you like me to leave them with the clerk? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your support over the years.
Yes.
It goes way back, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Michael? Okay, reports and presentations. City committees has
I'm
never
done. Did you want to discuss the answers to these questions with fire chief staff, or do you want to wait for another meeting since the application?
As part of this?
Or as a separate issue, separate time?
How long we have to look at this?
Well, we can come back in a month, and that's okay. Because the application system. So we've got some time to consider.
Okay, well, let's, I think we're going to need time to
Okay.
go over that.
Perfect.
Or look at it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, I was sitting there.
Oh, it was an education for.
I just wanted to make sure you didn't have any questions about it before I read this.
All right, thank you.
I'll look over, I'll get you a question. I'll get you a question.
Thank you.
Okay, the work order presentation.
You have been asking for this for a long time. Let's give you an update on the status. Marilyn?
Everybody has a little handout here that depicts the process, and it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm the deputy recorder utility specialist, so when the job order comes in from an outside customer, I will be giving the job a number in the Cascade system, which is the system that we have that's going to perpetuate the whole process. And I will be using a combination of the fiscal year, the month, and a location identifier to create that number. And that's going to be an essential number that's going to track this through the whole process. And then the job order sheet is created, which here's an example of that down here. And this is what the guys will take with them to the site, and they'll fill out the information, or they come back to their office and fill it out, whatever they.
As long as they fill it out.
But they'll just fill in all of the details, and then they will give it back to me, and I transcribe that information into the Cascade system, and that's what this will kind of look like. It has a continuation down below of all the different information that's going to go in there, including the hours that track the project and everything. And then you'll be able to get a spit out of a report whenever you want a report, I guess, of what the details are of what they've been doing and how many hours they've used and all of that. And at this time, we did do 2. We pushed 2 through, and it was pretty okay. But we're working on getting the details worked out.
Functions, and so we're trying to figure out how to make all those pieces come together.
Step closer.
Hey, I've been on council for, this is
Yeah.
8 years. 8 years I've been on council. And before I was even on council, I mean, when I came on council, there was always this big, what are we going to do for work order? That was 8 years ago. So thank you. Thank you.
That's a big deal.
And obviously, and all I'm looking here for is, it looks like you got a nice start. Obviously, there's going to be some
Details that have to be
some
worked
learning how
out,
to do things.
the functions, the other functions of
But
it, so. It's a puzzle. Mary Ann and Kathy have been working very hard. I've just been drawing pictures.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate the council and this, and our audit. Every audit I was on, I've been on all the early audits for 6 years. Every audit said, "Hey, you need a work order system." And they considered it a big issue, a work order system. And that was 8 years ago. and I'm sure prior, I don't know how long before that, but I know at least 8 years ago, every audit said, man, you gotta get a work order system going on here. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And I guess for me too, I don't know, this isn't gonna chart or track the daily going on of it's projects. Not every day is a project for them.
That's correct.
Right.
So everyday work, we may not be able to say what's going on every day with everything.
And what we're working on now is like I don't know if it showed up on the sheet, but the two that we posted were houses and subdivisions. Those are specific jobs. So those are gonna be pretty easy to get from them and to track. But there are other jobs, like when the electric guys do the line down at wherever they were, Eagle Creek or whatever, they replace the line. That's a job, but we upstairs don't necessarily know that because they don't need anything from us to get that job done. On the houses, we actually do estimate sheets that we help them prepare their stuff. So.
But even though you may not know it, that is a job that should have been a work order job though.
They have to give us that
And
information.
that's where we get, but say we have an outage, that isn't a work order thing. An outage is an outage, we took over, but then how do we track the inventory of
We have to
things
go
used
back.
during that outage?
We have to go back and try and create it, make it a job, so that we can track the inventory in and out.
So even though we're not tracking everything that's going on every day, if they use something during a day, somehow we're gonna track, some kind of inventory they used, even though it may have been a simple job, or it may have been the day-to-day stuff that they do. Is that gonna be tracked, or?
Those are materially insignificant in accounting terms, which the big jobs, the contracts, when the auditor comes in and says, okay, I want to see things that add to your fixed assets, that's what we're trying to track. And that's what this is designed to track, not the little stuff. They need a fuse to go down and put your power back in at 1:30 at night. So that's not a job. That'll come out when we do our inventory counting.
But eventually it'll be an inventory, and we'll find what we had to use to do that.
When we do our inventory count.
Okay. And the system we have right now is going to help with that.
Yeah.
So right now, we may have done that job, and it's written down somewhere. At the end of the year, we may not have picked that on long enough.
That's right.
But now that's going to eventually, even though it may not show as a job, it's going to show somewhere in inventory that a fuse was used or whatever.
The hardest part of this whole flow chart is convincing the guys to do it so that they take the time to do it right, rather than at the end of the year when the auditor comes in and says, give me all of your jobs and tell me how much inventory you put in, how much labor, and they have to go back and do research, and they have to figure out what we use on that thing. I don't remember. Do you remember what we did? And it's the hardest part of the job is to get the guys to do the paper. Not the job.
We've tried to make it
As
easy for them.
simple as possible.
So I would just say that what I'd like to have happen right now is every time we have a city council meeting, we have some kind of it doesn't have to be a big report, just a little report that says, hey, we're getting them on board. Things are getting better here. The guys are, I like to hear that we're moving ahead on this. Because I'm already feeling good that and obviously it hasn't been easy, and it has been easy for, this obviously is something that's a pretty tough thing to do, because we haven't been able to do it for as long as I've been here, but we're doing it. So kudos to you folks. And I understand it isn't where you want it yet, but I would like to, I think the council needs to know how it is moving ahead. And that someday that you guys come in here and go, man, we got this down. We got it down, and everybody's on, we're tracking it, it's on, everybody's on board, it's clicking. So.
Education and training.
What? Can I quote you? Thank you.
Well, there's a whole bunch of people who've been on this council.
I've had
There's been a bunch of people on this council that have been trying to get a work order system going. So
There's been a lot.
There's going to be a bunch of past councilmen that are going to be happy and appreciate that you're moving ahead with this.
Good.
And I guarantee probably, I'm sure auditors are gonna be happy that we're doing this.
As you get proficient, we've been doing this for about 15 years. And when you first start, it's a pain. But after you start to get proficient,
routine,
then you start adding things. We have certain numbers for every piece of highway between point A and point B. And every activity we have has a number. So every month I get a readout that says, Wanapa cost me this much money this month because I had to spend 40 hours on the drainage and 10 hours on the striping and so on and so forth. So you can get pretty precise about it. But that's not going to happen here until
It's gonna be a while.
it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
I would have a 5-year plan if it was up to me to really
Trying to get to where you're ready.
yeah, because you're going to start adding things to it. You're going to find that just because you go out and fix a fuse, are you going to charge that to that job? Well, yeah, you might in a few years after you get better with the system. And in a few years, I would expect that, just like you're saying, the folks come to the council meeting and they go, okay, here's what we spent this month and here's what we accomplished. And it's, it's just better all around. That way you can predict what a job's going to cost you.
You know how to budget, and you know where your weak places are, you know where you're building your system. And instead of jumping all over your system going, just putting out fires, with this, you get to where you actually.
At first, you're going to find a lot of things like nuts and bolts and the little stuff that you buy a box of or 100 boxes of. Those are the difficult things, but it's not exact. You got to just get as close as you can to. But you're right. We've been talking about this for 10 years, at least, and there's private citizens that through the years, they're wondering, just like we are, why aren't we doing this? Everybody else is. So this is very helpful, and I'm very encouraged to see that it's started.
yes, thank you, staff.
Yeah, good job.
Yes.
Thanks. Just put another load on it. Just put another load on us, but. Okay, so that's the report for right now.
That's the report for right now.
Well, for me, how you set this up really helps me out too. It does follow the process of, it shows me what it looks like in here, and shows me how you follow through it. So that is helpful for me too.
It may change.
Oh,
You
and
know,
that's
it
okay.
should. So I have it on file and I
And
can
that's
move the
okay.
pictures around and, but that's what we've got so far.
All right, thanks. Okay, City Administrator Zimmerman's report.
Thank you. We received 2 applications for the camera operator position, and these are people that have created documentaries and films. And, these are professional cinematographers, and they're way over qualified to sit at a computer and click on this camera to point to you and this camera to point to me. And so, given that, we also approached the school. The school teachers were not interested in giving anyone credit for coming down for civics or everything. They didn't want to mess with it. So given those 2 things, we'd like permission to cross-train our staff and figure out how to remunerate them. I'm not there yet, but Mary Ann has been doing it. She's been contracted by the port to do their filming. When Mary Ann's on vacation, we need to have somebody else cross-trained to sit at the desk and do that. So with your permission, we'll put together a program of how to get our employees trained and compensated, maybe in their pay and maybe some other way. I haven't talked to Ruben about that one yet, but it just didn't make sense to hire somebody to come in to sit here for 4 hours and point and click. I didn't do that. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do with our camera operator. Utility billing clerk, we received 8 applications. We ended up interviewing and testing 4 candidates. Several dropped out. One didn't show up for their interview. After rating the test scores and interviews, staff is recommending the council hire Lisa Dunn from Stevenson. She's had prior bookkeeping and payroll experience. May we extend an offer to her and then do the credit checks, background checks, and drug tests.
So you guys feel comfortable that she may be a good fit?
Very much so.
We okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, extend.
Okay.
Mary Ann will be relieved. The mayor and I will be in Washington, D.C. at our next council meeting, March 11th. You want to meet without us? Well, take your time and think about it.
You give yourself raises.
Yeah.
Well, now that we've got to work for it.
I wouldn't be there anyway because Jess would be there also and I have no babysitter. So.
Okay, all right, thank you, I appreciate that. Finally, well, a couple of things. The statement of economic interest, for those of you who are new to the council, Jules, because you're on the council as of April 15th, 2019, you have the opportunity to fill out a statement of economic interest. The state wants to know if there's any conflict of interest or where you're getting your money from. There is an article in the local focus first quarter report that states the economic interest, what you need to know. There you go. I'll be quiet then.
I haven't done it yet, but I read it.
Well, you haven't got it yet.
That's not
I've got the
Well, you
email.
should be getting it.
It's online.
I've got it online.
Yeah. Okay, so she can go.
I didn't get mine.
I didn't get mine.
Well, maybe they're doing it
You can just
I don't
call
I don't do
That's
that
the
part.
state.
That's the state.
Go to the website. and
I've gotten emails about it.
Okay, perfect. All right, and if you have any questions, call Mary Ann.
I will.
And finally, with the resignation of our fire chief, as you heard tonight from Skamania EMS and seen before, may we advertise for a replacement?
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Again, council meetings are broadcast live on Channel 23 and YouTube, and like us on our Facebook page. Thank you.
Okay. Mayor and city council comments. Bruce, we'll start with you. Comment.
Oh, thank you, Your I would like to start off by commending the 2 citizens I heard about that I don't know them, and I heard they're fairly new to town, but they went out and took care of all the people stranded on the highway, and that's really better on the news. The community looked real good, so I want to thank them. And thank you, staff, for this work order thing. I mean, that's it's a great moment in our history that it's that progress. It really is. I'm touched by this. I think I have one more thing, but I can't remember it right now, so I'm going to give up the floor. But thank you.
Thank you.
Jules.
Hate it when it's my turn. I don't like talking in front of people, obviously. A few things I wish the fire department was still here. Fire and EMS have been great on weather reports online on Facebook. They've been entertaining and they've been pretty good for the weather reports. I appreciate that. I appreciate can we do a neighborhood watch? Like, can we organize that with the sheriff's department? Or I've been driving around at night. I haven't seen anything, but probably between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. I haven't seen anything at all. But I'm one person. So there were 3 cars with smashed windshields, I think Sunday morning, or back windows on Forest Lane. I think there were a few on your, like, right near your house.
That was my daughter's car.
So, I don't I don't know how we do that, but I think it's a serious problem. That's all I have to say.
Bobby?
Well, mention the two folks that, took the time to go out on the freeway. And I would just encourage people here in Cascade Locks or anybody traveling in the Gorge, please, please, please prepare yourselves to, in the wintertime. Just because you have a four-wheel drive does not mean you can still drive fast. It doesn't help you stop. A lot of folks are just not very good in the snow. Put a book, a blanket, some water, candy bars, whatever. But I always try to be prepared to sit for 5 or 6 hours because I've had to. And so not only at work, but in my personal car. So please be prepared. And if you got folks coming to visit you, tell them to be prepared. That 17-hour backup, there's a lot of that was a lack, in my opinion, a lack of support to make sure people were chained up when they should have been. That's the only way you can get people sometimes to chain up is physically have an officer there and say, put your chains on or go park over there. And so hopefully we've gotten back to a little of that. But, and another note, I'm very happy to see the work order system at least starting up. It's very encouraging. We've been talking about it forever. It was a good, healthy discussion we had about, the paying back the loan and everything. And hopefully we can, get the facts. And like I said, I'm just a numbers guy. I've got to see the numbers in front of me. And that would be very good. And the winter's not over yet. So, again, be prepared.
Richard?
Yes, I would like to thank Chief Bennett for her service, and I wish her the best, and hope that she has a great future. Also, concerning the vandalism that seems to be perennial, I noticed that John Harvey has been talking to people, trying to get them to come to him or call him on the phone he said that he could give them pointers about a neighborhood watch. So maybe if there's a group of citizens that want to pursue this, then I would recommend that they go through John Harvey, and he could probably help organize a neighborhood watch, kind of like do's and don'ts and how to protect yourself and stuff, and don't confront anybody, one-on-one, for example, because a lot of times that doesn't end well. So there's a lot of that. But I'm in agreement with Julie that it just seems like, I don't know what the answer is, but something's got to be done differently than what we've been doing, because there's some evil, malicious people out there that for some reason want to continue to vandalize people's property. And, and it seems like they know when the police aren't in town, so maybe we can all put our minds together and come up with something. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but maybe we should continue to look at that. Maybe we can come up with something. Because I know we don't have money for anything. A lot of things that we need to do, we don't have the money for. We don't have the funding for it. So I guess we have to continue to try to be creative in some of these problems that we have. Other than that, be safe. It's going to be pretty icy and slick out there for the next few days. I'm done.
Glenda, can I use a little of your time to, I forgot. It's very unfortunate that we're going to lose Jess. She's a good person personally. She came to my aid when I was not well. And, you know, it makes a world of difference when you're hurt or ill and somebody comes to help you that you know and recognize. And I tell you what, she was all business. She literally helped save my life, and so I owe her a debt. And I hope that whatever she has in her future, that she excels at it, because she's a genuinely good person. And I'm sorry I didn't recognize that at the beginning. So good luck to her.
Are you through, Richard?
No, I'm done.
Okay, Linda, you're up.
I remember when Sheriff English was here, we talked about a neighborhood watch, and he said to just contact him. He would be more than happy to help organize that or help give us pointers or however he wanted, or we wanted help. So I remember him saying that. And I also want to thank Jessica for all the years and all the hours and all the time, everything that she has given to our community. She's done a good job. I wish her the best. And I want to thank the staff for this work order. It looks great. I was looking at it, thought, wow, we're stepping up here.
We
So,
brought good pictures.
yeah, it looks good, and I know it's going to take some time to get all the wrinkles out, but hey, this is a start. And I always want to thank the staff. You guys do a good job.
You good there?
Yep.
Yeah, I would agree. Jessica did, well, her and her staff has done a good job. But you need to remember that I know it's been difficult for her, and she's been through a lot of difficult times with the changes in councils and directions and buildings, you know, and the things that we do here. But the council has attempted to do what it can. When I first was on the council, we had a paramedic. The fire chief was a volunteer fire chief. Then the paramedic became paramedic fire chief. So there was just one person that was paid. That was it. And the councils has moved to a second paramedic, and we've moved to an EMT. So the council has done what it can do within its parameters of moving ahead. One of the things that's in our budget year here is to try to get the money for a rare person to try to help us move this ahead too. It is always going to be an issue. It is an issue for Skamania County. I mean, you heard the amount of people they have. It's a large county, and it's difficult for them though too. So there are times when they do have where they're at zero, and they get another call and another call, and so even that, as many people they said that's on their staff, they can't keep up with all the stuff that they've got going on. But they have been, and I think part of it is attributed to Jessica and the department we've had over the years. We do have a great relationship with Skamania County. We've got a good relationship with Hood River. So our lack of resources, because we're a small community, Skamania County derives our money from the entire county to help fund emergency services. So it's difficult for us, but it doesn't mean that we don't try to keep moving ahead and try to keep getting better at this. I think this council, the councils that I've been on and this council, continue to try to work to better our emergency services. But it's tough for, it's tough for us, it's tough for everybody. But Jessica and her staff have worked real hard to do the best they can with the resources that we've given them. Where else was I on that? I had a couple other things I want to say, but I always say a lot of things anyway, so I'll say something. I'll say something next time around. But again, yeah, the work order system. I appreciate that. We do appreciate that. One other thing I did want to say, because we get people come in and ask us questions, and I think when citizens ask a question, it's appropriate to ask a question. We should try to get the answers for them. Sometimes folks come on in and are just pointing a finger at you. They aren't just really asking a question. They're just, because I've seen them go after our staff and on that, and they aren't asking a question. They're just going after people. So I can do without that. But when they ask a legitimate question, we should do the best we can to answer that. And we've had a question at a couple of different meetings on loans. Where are we at on loans? And basically, I just went back to and I think a lot of it, all of it's in public. It's all public knowledge, and that's what I did. I just went back to, because I've been on here 8 years, so I got eight budgets that I can go through. So, but those are all public budgets, and I looked here on 2012, and just to give an example of where these councils that we have here right now, and councils prior, where we've been as far as loans. Yes, we do take out loans. We're taking out a loan right now for water in order to better our water system. That's been hasn't had a major thing done on it in decades, and we're looking at a loan right now for our sewer system that hasn't had major things at the level we're doing in decades. But we've got this growth going on, and this growth has happened, in my opinion, from the relationship between the city and the port. But with that growth, our infrastructure has to be solid and look good for it, and I think we're doing that. But example, and this is from 2012, and they're talking about the Cascade's outstanding loans, and one of those loans was during the building of the fire department. They took out a $450,000 loan from the power company, and the council before, these councils that I've been on here, what they did on that is they only paid the interest. They said, we're not putting a bunch of money into this loan to pay back the power company. We are only going to pay the interest, because what they were hoping to do, they were looking to try to sell the fire station, the old fire station, get $450,000 out of that, and things cleared. But it wasn't moving. Nobody was selling. They weren't even putting it up for sale for the most part. Finally, the council came on, and that's when we sold it. We got it sold. That money went towards that. And in 2012, they're estimating that loan to be paid by 2021. That's when that loan was going to be paid. This council took that on, didn't pay just the interest. They paid, I think we took out of the general fund almost $50,000 a year to pay that loan. That loan's paid. So this council has paid that loan. It's not 2021. It was paid in 2018, I believe, is when it got paid. Because this council took it on, saw there was a loan, saw something needed to be taken care of, paid the city's debts, and they did it. There were a couple of other loans taken out on the fire hall. Fire hall was just as we did here with our last one. Our treatment, water treatment out here went from $800,000 to $1 million. The fire department went from $1.4 million was the estimate on it. I think it got built for $1.9 million, somewhere around there. So it needed these loans. So there were two other loans they took out at the end. There were two OIB loans. One was for $150,000, one was for $125,000. Those loans were taken after all the grants, and those were all extra loans in order to cover the overages of building that. And those loans weren't supposed to be paid down until 2019. They were already, both those loans are paid off, and they're paid off prior to 2019, and they're paid off because the council stayed at them. I think we even put extra on them to get them paid. We had a loan that $45 bill that we have on from the sewer side. Part of that is for the the building of the sewer system. There was an original loan on it, they got it paid, and this council took the money after that loan was paid and put it into another loan for the addition to grow the sewer system as our city limits grew. And we took the money we were paying after that loan was paid off and put it on the next loan. We just didn't throw it in the general fund, they put it on the next loan. And I think that loan was supposed to be paid off in, I think, 38, something like that, but it's going to be paid off when? In 28. And that was because this council said, just don't take that money, put it in it, let's double down on this. Gordon refinanced the loan, got a better interest rate on it. And with all of that loan's going to be paid earlier than it was going to be paid. So all I'm saying is, yes, we do have loans, but this council, I believe, has been very responsible with how they've managed loans, how they've handled loans. And anytime they get a chance to put more money towards the loan and get it paid off sooner, they've done it. And there's evidence of it right here from a 2012 budget on loans. So, hey, we had a question about loans. Yes, there's loans out there. We've got a small loan still when we got the fire truck. So we got the fire hall. We got a grant for the truck, but it didn't cover the whole truck. So they got money from the water department, and we're paying back the water department for the rest of the fire truck, and that's supposed to be paid off here. I think this year. This year that'll be paid off. So we'll own that. That will be pretty clear. But again, that's the type of thing this council has done. Every loan we've had, we've worked at paying those. We've taken on responsibility of paying them, and we're paying them off. And I think that, in reality, they were all loans that were reasonable loans. They're all legal loans, and this council is doing the best they can to cover those loans. So that just is a small example but all of that I picked up. I didn't have to go ask anybody for it. It's just public information. I just took it off of a budget thing that talked about Cascade outstanding loans. Anyway, so there's some information from a citizen who wanted to know something about our loans. So there's that on that. There, I'm done. So, other matters? Other matters are, we have an executive session, is that correct?
We do.
Okay, so we're going to go, and we're not going to come out of that with an answer to anything.
No action.
So we're going to executive session, and we're going to go into it by ORS 192.660. 2B, legal counsel.
H.
2H.
2H, that's an H, that's my eyes, they're a little blurry. 2H, legal counsel. Well, somebody will catch it.
I'd give you my hearing aid, but I picked it up.
Are you on the denial?